from the Maritime Management Bureau to give us the general introductions of these times drills. Up to now, this drill is actually the largest and widely covered event of the most diversified varieties. We have three thoughts behind that. The first one is that we need to implement the central state councils and the provincial governments' requirement to check or to monitor the exercise of the emergencies, and we also want to make up for our disadvantages. And thirdly, we also want to guarantee the waterways which is undertaken in the Lianyungang area. And it is also going to upgrade our capacity. I can see that there is a huge change or shift of this Lianyungang port. Can you give me more introduction? I believe that after the implementations of the Belt Route Initiative, there are more and more ships come and go to the port, and it is actually posing a lot of threats or putting a lot of challenge to the management of this bureau. For another part, we always transfer some of the materials through our ports to the Middle East. As long as we can guarantee a safe or security to this area, I believe that it is very conducive to the future development. And also, Shanghai Cooperative Organization has set up a special industrial zone in the Lianyungang port, and it needs to transfer the goods to the Middle Asia's countries, Central Asia countries. And this is a very important international port, right? I think this is actually a foreign trade-dominated port or harbor. It is actually occupying around 70% of the total cargoes that we carried on. We need to enhance the drills happening in these areas because of the new COVID-19 situations. We also have some of the content within the prevention and control of the infectious disease. That is how we can prevent the virus to go abroad. We are not local people. We might not understand what is happening to this Lianyungang harbor. So what kind of countries does the ship from this Lianyungang harbor connected to? I think we can go to South Korea, to Americans, France, among other different ships. There are so many ships comes and go through this harbor, and as one of the earliest harbor in China, we are actually leading ahead for this drill. I believe that we heard the alarm for this drill. So currently we are doing a drill for the maritime ship security. We assume that a zero ship was being hijacked by the two criminals, and we are going to arrange the security or the place to conduct the rescue operations. I believe that we heard some of the sirens. These are the signals alarming to the civil ship. And on this ship from the maritime securities, it carries some of the place of the PLA armies people. And I think that they are actually heading toward to this operation ship. And we also arranged two important monitoring ships to go to the sites to maintain the security in the sea. I believe the civil ship belongs to the China Construction Group. Currently, it actually serving to the phase 2 of the 30 kilometers waterway track in Lianyungang. You could see the cruise ship approaching the civil construction ship. So can you give me an introduction of this cruise ship? I think it can carry 700 tons of the cargoes, and it is actually one of the largest cruise maritime police ship. And it is actually majorly responsible for conducting the emergency rescue operation. So there is a lot of operations for the maritime emergency treatment. Since we are organizing a drill this time, we are thinking about the international maritime situations and also the international geopolitical backgrounds. We are actually using one policeman to conduct as a hijacker to conduct these activities. Because for the operation civil ship, it is quite a very high height, and it is not difficult to climb into the top of this operation room. The smaller cruise ship is actually the first cruise ship we have adopted in the Lianyungang harbor, and currently it is being located in the Xuwei area to serve the constructions for the Xuwei area and maintaining the security in the Xuwei area. How often do you conduct this kind of drills? I think currently in the Lianyungang harbor we have 14 to 15 different cruise ships. The smaller size is around 10 kilometers. I think it's very useful in the internal waterways, and it can also operate in the small water area. Today we are blessed with good weather, and the view on the sea is quite clear, and it is also very helpful on the drills. I think currently this civil ship of China Construction Co. Limited is actually is actually a mud digger in the waterways, and it can carry around 30 tons of the mud undersea. And we have finished the first operations, and I believe that the cruise ship has brought the criminals under further investigation. And so what is the second operation? In the second operations, we are going to mimic that two ships collapse into each other, and many of the ship crews is actually falling into the water. We are trying to exercise about how we are going to rescue the two ships among its crew members, among the 5 crew members falling into the water, one of them is a Chinese national. So this is actually the Chinese ship that is operating, and currently it is entering into the harbor. Because we have opened up the Xuwei Harbor area. So currently we are catering to a lot of the cruise ships and also the oil transforming ships. So as this passenger liner is approaching us, they are clapping into each other. And once this accident is happening, the information is sent to the rescue center in the Lianyungang harbor. So the Lianyungang Harbor Bureau, coordinated with the different departments of the Lianyungang city, is forming a rescue operation. You have introduced that this harbor is actually accommodating a lot of the cruise ships, passenger liners, and some of the transporting liners for chemical materials and oil. So in the city of Lianyungang, we have one company, is Xuwei Chemical, and we want to build this company as a pillar for this as a pillar industry for this city. I think a year or 2 years later, the Xuwei port is going to transform itself dramatically. So currently, the total volume for import and exports in the Xuwei port is only around 17,000 tons, but I believe it is going to triple or quadruple in the coming 2 years. In the future, the total amount is going to break 25,000 tons. You have mentioned that this cruise ship or passenger liner is coming from South Korea, and we just assume another oil liner is actually coming from Venezuela, because Venezuela is a strategic partner with China. So can you introduce me this cruise ship, Xingda 98, Xingda 1998, number 98? I believe it is a ship with the total capacity of 5,000 tons, and it is for the majority a cargo liner. So when we are trying to find some of the passengers or cruise members falling in the water, we are searching them in the different ships, including searching them in the round ships, in all searching them according to different squares. The water operation is greatly affected by the hydrological conditions, meteorological conditions. The total rescue and search operation is under the precise data that we gathered. Yes, we do send 5 crew members, and later on we will see the helicopters help us to save these 5 crew members. I think this area where the red smoke is spreading is actually where they have fallen down. I think that we have the international requirements. So how do you carry on these smoking systems? I think once there are two ships collapse into each other, the crew's member is going to wear their protective suits, and they are also going to burn a smoking signal to help them. So that is to say, we have a pre-action plan, because for one ship, it is always conducting this exercise once every while. I think the cruise ship we are seeing is actually coming from the East China Sea Rescue Operation Bureau. In Lianyungang, we have a special base for the rescue operation in the water. We have the professional people conducting the rescue.
为市农业农村局公务船，市农业农村局作为连云港海上搜救中心负责任成员单位，牢固树立以人为本的理念，密切配合海上搜救行动。
The China Postal Rescuer is also contributing to this operation on the water. So from my perspective, the people seems very small, or like compared with the size of the ship. So how do you rescue these people in this vast water? So actually, when the ship is approaching these victims, approaching these people who are falling down on the water, they are going to send some of the nets or ropes to drag them onto the ship. You could see that these personnel is climbing through a ladder towards the ship. Quite a successful operation. So you could see that these people is actually climbing through this rescue network ladder onto this shop. So in this Lianyungang rescuer ship, we also have a special operation sails ship. If the water is very shallow, we are not going to send the large rescue ship. We are only going to send the small cruises. I think one major influencing factors for the overseas rescuer, for the water rescue operation, is the heavy wind or unpredictable hydrological conditions. So in the eastern water area, we have this professional rescue crews, and we could see that on top of these rescue crews, we have the drones who's helping us, and this drone or robots is designed by Chinese researchers, and it is very easy to apply in the shallow water area. And after we have dialed the 120 emergency phone, the operation signal is being sent to the water area. So currently we have a monitor on this ship to search the personnel falling into the water.
连云港救助基地牢固践行把生的希望送给
Lianyungang
别人，
Rescue
把死的危
Center
险留给自己
has
的救助精
always
神。
been
近3年来，
people-centered
基地
and
共执行救助
life-focused.
抢险任务
And for the
206起
recent few years, we have conducted successfully 268 operations. So we are actually enlarging the rescue area according to the directions of the wind and also the hydrological conditions.
救助船在救助过程中会
The
根据现场
rescue
环境
cruise
和本船
is
操
going
作性能，
to adopt
采用
the
层
new way of
下分下游
operations
迂回
according
包
to the
抄
hydrological
或滑车
conditions.
躺航方式靠
And
近落水
they are
人员。
trying to
救
approach
助船
the
在接近落
personnel
水人员
falling
时
into
会
the
提高
water.
并摆开
And
船尾，
later on,
以
it
避
is
免
also
船体
going
和螺旋
to
桨伤到落水人员。
adopt the horizontal positions in order to protect the personnel falling into the water.
We
have also arranged a helicopter flying from Huanghai. Compared with the traditional large water area, helicopter can rescue the people flexibly, and it is also have a ultraviolet positioning navigation system, so it can also recognize the personnel. With the ever-maturing technologies, helicopter is going to be one of the major rescue methods we adopted. So I think once the helicopter is entered into this area, we are going to arrange these special lines, and later on we are going to send the rescue crew. And once it is ascending, it is also going to drag the victim back into the helicopter. Let's see their operation. So it is the person who's going to rescue her. Yes. So when the helicopter is in the sky, they need to position themselves precisely to the people and to the victim, because they need to position themselves directly into the people. And I think currently the helicopter is approaching the surface of the water, and it is actually trying to find its target or position their targets. This is an operation trying to rescue the people or crew members falling down in the water, and it is actually a drill designed to tackle with a complex navigational environment. We could say the place rescuing place is actually approaching the victim. I think water rescue operation is something really difficult, and it is actually a task for the operators in the helicopter. It is a very difficult task to the positioning ability of the helicopter. You need to be precisely to put this rescue rope near the personnel. So for the professional helicopter operators, I believe that they train themselves every day to enhance their ability to save the people. The pilot must have a very good navigation ability to position themselves directly on top of the crew's members falling into the water. I think among these five crew members falling into the water, one of them suffered from the injuries in the head part. We transferred them using the ambulance to the hospital immediately. This is also a part of the operation. And we have already sent the signals to the hospital centers. So after this intensive, quick, and fast rescue drills, we have successfully organized these successful drills, and currently the Xunwei New District is organizing the follow-up rescue effort, including the mental support and also the hospital treatment. I believe with the joint actions of the helicopters, the cruise ships, and among other different methods, we have conducted a very successful rescue operation. Distinguished leaders, dear viewers, and we are going to enter into the third categories of today's drill. It is about the ship oil spill removal. And we are trying to, the scenario or the background is that one of the oil crews is leaking some of the oils into the surface. So this is actually an operation coordinating the oil cleaning crew's capacity. And this is actually emergency operations to eliminate the environmental pollution in this water area. So generally speaking, we are going to adopt a series of different measures when this kind of leakage happening. For the first part, we are going to invite the professional cleaning operators. And after this maintenance effort, we are also going to send some of the follow-up cleaning cruise ship to detect whether there are some of the residues of the oil left on the water. So the Maritime cruise ship 101, I'm here to report we have spotted an oil leakage event happening in the water area. Please send the cruise ship to clean the oil immediately. After this operation, we are actually shouldering quite other different responsibilities. So for the maritime management bureaus, We are not only responsible for the directions, navigations in this area, we are also responsible for the emergency treatment. We are going to adopt every method we can to stop the oil leakage event happening in the water, and we are also going to try our best to eliminate or reduce the environmental impact it created. In our bureaus, we have over 20 different oil cleanserizing operators, and we could see the oil ship. And so this is actually the first ship approaching the oil cruisers, and they are trying to. This is a ship trying to look on the loopholes in this oil cruise. First, they need to make up some of the statues for this oil leakage area. So once there is any leakage happening in the cruise ships, we are sending the first ship to approach this oil cruise to find out where the loophole is. There are several different methods or materials applied to find out the loopholes. So when there is actually a leakage of the oil on the cruise ship, we're going to send this ship and find out where the loophole is and trying to make up for it. Currently, we are applying the materials of the platinum. This is actually a temporary method we adopted. So if there is any oil spillovers in the water, actually we have no international environmental organization in the seawater, but our Maritime Management Bureau's major missions is actually trying to prevent any oil linkage to impact the water environment. So because we are trying to manage the the ships on the cruise ships, and if there is any leakage of the oils, it belongs to the Ministry of Environmental and Ecological Protection. We are actually working in synergy with this Ministry of Environmental and Ecological Protection. This is actually a world dilemma, which nation or which government should be responsible for the oil leakage in the water. Since the damage is mostly occurred in the water or in the environment, currently we are still under the negotiations of how to eliminate the oil spill events in this area. I could say that this is actually reflecting the whole society's consensus about the importance of the environmental protection. So here it comes, the second ship. It is a light ship, and it can be sent into the water very easily. And currently, the second ship is dispatching the circling material or VO2 to circle out all the polluted area first. We could see the pipe surrounding its area, and by dispatching the collecting machines for the oils on the surface of the water, and later on we are also going to conduct a follow-up residue clearing operation. So today we are actually operating and using a Huanghai No.4 oil collector. This oil collector can sail for 10 hours, and in this ship we have facilitated with the rubbish cleaning operation, and it can be applied to the oil recollections with the lower or the medium densities in the recent few years. the oil leakage accident happening in the Mexico Gulf in the United States, and also several different pollutant events occurring across the world is raising us the alarms, the importance that we should operate or conduct the drills of the ship oil spill removers. And in January 2018, in the Panama water region, a Hong Kong ship has spilled the oil, and the two oil ships is virtually clapping into each other. This is actually, at the time, there were huge volume of the oils being spilled into the water. That was sending another alarm for the whole world. So can you give me more introduction of this large cruise ship? I think it can carry 10 to 12 tons of the oils. And if the wind is above 8 degrees, it is very difficult for us to dispatch this kind of oil cleanserizing ship. So I think for the 8 great wind on the water, generally speaking, we don't allow any ship to sail in the water, right? No, I think in the 8 great wind conditions, some of the commercial cruises still can sail in the water. The black ship in front of us, we could see many of the cruise members is actually trying to use some of the white plastic bag to do something. Can you introduce us what they are doing right now? This white plastic or white fiber bag is actually trying to absorb all the oil residues in the water. This is actually one of the number 4 oil collecting ship. And it is actually numbered BIP 5 oil collecting ship. This ship is very reliable and it can be applied to all the different water conditions. So currently, we believe that the oil spill removal operation is about to finish, but we need the later confirmations for the final removal and for the follow-up operations. I believe with the emergency operations, the loophole has been found and it has been dispatched, and the oil spill, the majority of the oil spill has been removed. But we need further confirmation for the final result. That's the reason why we have dispatched the Sea Cruise 0615 to confirm the final result. Through this
将有效提高
oil
我市海上
spill
污染物清
removal
除的
drill, it is greatly enhanced our capacity and ability to deal with emergency scenarios. Dear viewers, here we finish and conclude the drills for the ship oil spill removers. And we come to the next drill or exercise.
油污刚刚清除结束，商船达川岛轮在出港过程中突发火灾，一场灭火行动展开了。
In the fourth operation, the background is one of the commercial ship. On top of one of the commercial ship, there is a fire occurred or fire accident. We need to deal with the fires and dispatch the firefighters. This is one of the cruise ships spotted in our harbor. There is a fire accident happening on its roof. This cruise ship has reported to our ship management bureaus, and we are dispatching the firefighters. So what is the reasons for the fire happening on the ship? Because from a general perspective, I think it's not quite difficult for the fire to occur on the ship. I think there are two reasons behind it. One of the fires is actually occurring in the live areas, in the lab rooms of the ship crews, and also in the cargo cabins. It is also very easy to see the fires occurs. There are so many consumables. The oils, which is also being restored in the ship, if it is mistreated, it is also going to generate the fire. On the right hand, we could see that two professional firefighting ships, cruise ships. So, in the water areas, because the firefighters cannot approach to the ship where it happens, so we generally dispatch this firefighting ship. So that is to see the functions for this firefighting ship is helping the firefighting, and does it have other different functions? So I think one of the major functions for this firefighting ship is to rescue the fires on the different ships, but it is also responsible for dragging the different ships. So it is actually dragging the water under it to spread the water on this cruise ship. So one major advantage is for the firefighting on the water is that it is quite easy for us to get the water. We kindly remind all the ships nearby to relocate themselves. So you could see the height for the spread of this water. I think the highest can be reaching 30 meters. So it needs to spread within a certain distance because it needs to keep the ship or the firefighter ship's security. So these are the two different firefighting drills. So we majorly focusing on the following four different fronts. First, we should pay attention to the tourist and also the ship. And secondly, we should spot where the fire is occurred, and we then should adopt the appropriate firefighting method. Third, we should use these firefighting methods, and fourthly, we should protect the lives of the firefighters and also the crews on the ship. So I think the two firefighting ships is spreading the water to this commercial ship. And we should also, for the crew members on this ship, they also conducted several different self-rescue operations. Because in the ship, we have facilitated a firefighting system with the carbon dioxide. And according to the requirement for the ship management bureaus, every single ship is actually being facilitated with the firefighting equipment. They could tackle some of the small-scale fires.
这个海上哈，我这边看着各种各样的船哈在航行啊。其实我觉得这个航行的这个驾驶员的开船的这技术是不是要特别过硬啊？要不然这个风浪啊，这个这么大的船的一些
I could see the ships is actually operating on the water. Is it very? Is the requirement for the pilot quite high? I think it needs several years training and certification to operate this ship, and also for each of the ship crew members, we conducted periodically professional training to adapt them to the ever-changing scenarios in the water. So we could see the fire has been successfully put in this commercial cruise. And that actually helps us end with the fourth exercise of this drill for the 2020 Huanghai No.4 Maritime search. Dear viewers, with the endings of these firefighting drills, I believe that we have finished all the categories of today's plans. So today we actually see 4 different exercises being in the drill, and I think that the prevention and control of COVID-19 is also work together with this operation. Dear viewers, today I'm in Lianyungang, Jiangsu province, and we have just viewed a wonderful drill in terms of the maritime research and search and rescue. And we have successfully finished the 4 different categories. Thank you very much for your watching, and we'll see you soon.